Hello YouTube, DarkPhoenix Gaming here, and welcome to an update video. Now, before we get into the meat of the update, I feel that some explanation is in order because this concerns my current schedule and my current policy of rotating through Let's Plays on all the days that I'm currently LPing games. And not everyone watches all my update videos, so not everyone is going to be aware that I even do this. Some of you might think that I just randomly put LPs on hold, but no. What I actually do right now is, if I start an LP, then I will run it for about 20 episodes, then it will be put on hold, and I will start a new one and run that for about 20 episodes. When that finishes, I'll either go back to the old one or start a new one and run that for 20 episodes. And I've been doing that for a while now. And I feel like it's working pretty well just to prevent content stagnation, because that's one thing I've had a problem with in the past. My content has been all one type of thing for a ridiculous amount of time. Because I tend to play very long strategy and role-playing games, and they always take a tremendous amount of time to finish. So unfortunately, it will always be a very long time before you get any form of new content. And that's the reason why I introduced this, just to make it easier to start putting out new content more regularly. At the moment, though, the thing that I want to talk about in the update video, because yes, it's finally time to get into the main point. The issue is that I'm running 3 upload slots on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Right now I have Strategy Tuesdays, RPG Wednesdays, and Bonus Thursdays. And I should probably explain those, since the third one is little bit of a misnomer to a lot of people, most likely. Strategy Tuesdays and RPG Wednesdays are pretty obvious. I upload my strategy games on Tuesday and my RPGs on Wednesday. The bonus Thursdays, though, first let me tell you what that does not mean. It does not mean that I am going to just be uploading there when I feel like it. It means that on Thursdays, I'll be uploading a type of game in my bonus slot. In other words, games that don't fit into the RPG or strategy categories, or that do and I don't want to wait until one of those finishes to be able to start uploading it. It's an extra slot that I can use for any type of game I like, in other words. Anywho, right now my RPG slot is pretty good for what I'm uploading there. I want to wait until I expand on it. But the strategy, and more importantly, the bonus slots, those two, they only have 2 games running in them each, and after giving it some thought, I want to have 3 games running in each. So I've started 2 polls, one for each, that will be able to help me decide what game should be added to those lists. And I want you guys to vote on it. So what I'm going to do now is go over which games are on each poll, and we'll start with the strategy poll, since that's the type of game I'm playing the most lately. So then, dear YouTube peoples, let's get started. And the first item that you're going to find on my list of games that I'm considering for the strategy slot is Age of Mythology Extended Edition. Those of you who remember my recent update video, or those of you who were watching my YouTube channel back in the good old days, back when I was a university student and everything, if you remember from back then, you will recall the fact you'll recall the fact that I did actually, and I'm fumbling over my words here, I did actually do a Let's Play of the original Age of Mythology, the CD version specifically, back when I was at university. And it was quite a lot of fun. I finished up to the end of the Greek section, but the issue that I ran into eventually with that whole mess was the fact that I was not able to finish that Let's Play for various reasons. Mostly down to technical difficulties. I ran into some problems with my hardware and a few bugs that made the game unplayable for a while. I eventually fixed it, but it's been so long since that I have just since then decided I will simply restart that Let's Play. And I recently picked up the extended edition off of Steam on a sale, so I figure why not kill two birds with one stone and play it at the same time. And this will be the first option on my list if I decide to go for it. So, let me know if you're interested. And don't be fooled by the footage, this is a very combat-heavy game. I just have to build a base first. In any case, now, on to game number 2. And here we are at game number 2, Europa Universalis 4, specifically as the Ottoman Empire. This is my second choice for another game for my strategy slot. Now, Europa Universalis 4 is, in my opinion, one of the best games there is. And it holds the distinctive honor of being the one game that I have played more hours than any other on Steam. So it really is an excellent game. And it's one that I really love. And I have to say, I've always enjoyed playing as the Ottoman Empire, just because I start in a really central location between Europe and the Middle East. And it gives me a chance to just expand in whatever direction I like, so I have a lot more options than I would with most countries. But I haven't played as the Ottomans, not including the game that I'm showing as footage right now, which I hadn't touched in weeks. But I hadn't played as the Ottomans since before the release of that DLC that overhauled the Muslim factions. I can't remember the name right now, but before that I hadn't played as the Ottomans in ages. Simply because I was always playing as other nations. So, I'm not as experienced with them in their modern format as I could be. So I think they would make a very interesting gameplay faction to go for. Honestly, the only one faction who could potentially come close to them in that regard would be France, because I always say I want to play as France, but I never do it. But I think that would be better saved for another time. I just think the Ottomans would be the best pick. So, I'm asking on my poll as choice number 2, do you want me to play Europa Universalis 4 as the Ottoman Empire? Now, bear in mind, if you have another nation you would rather I play as, and it's not a particularly difficult one, and is one that an experienced newbie, like myself, could easily get to grips with, and not have a massive amount of trouble with, if the nation you have in mind is one that falls into those categories, then feel free to suggest it down in the comments section of my poll. I am open to ideas. I just may decide to reject them if I would rather do something else, is all. But I'm more than willing to do things your way if you would prefer something different. And with that, I think I will bid you adieu with regard to Europa Universalis 4. Remember, vote in the poll. And now it is time for us to see what is behind door number 3. I will see you there. Ta-ta for the moment. And behind door number 3, you will find Sins of a Solar Empire Rebellion. Now, Sins of a Solar Empire is a very interesting option. It is a space-based strategy game. Almost called it a grand strategy game there. It isn't that, I can tell you that for certain. It's a space-based strategy game. But the game takes place entirely in real time. There is no pause button. You have to always keep going and keep at it with what you're doing. You can never pause the game.
Reporting for duty. Where to now?
That is the real wrinkle for a lot of people with Sins.
Point me in the right direction.
The fact that you can't pause the game, so you have to always be focusing on everything and managing from down to 1 to all the way up to about a dozen or so planets, as well as fighting wars and everything, and just the stakes and scale can get to be quite incredible. I've only put about 16 hours into it, and a lot of that was fairly casual or just me messing with mods, but it's an option I rather like. And I haven't actually decided yet if this one did win, what would I consider to be a victory? Would it be I'd wiped out all the other factions, or simply... Or would I simply make victory when I had decided that I'd accomplished everything? Because I could just decide to stop at some point, that it was effectively won, even though I was still fighting off some guys. And I might just do that, actually.
Insufficient metal.
It's certainly an option that I'd given some thought to. And I have to admit, I am very tempted by the prospect of doing Sins of a Solar Empire Rebellion.
Go ahead.
As far as space strategy games go, it is one of my favorites. It really is.
Deploying.
It's been a long time since I've played a space strategy game I've enjoyed as much as this one.
What now?
There's Stellaris, obviously, but
Yes, sir.
that's a bit different. Stellaris is a grand strategy game. it's a grand strategy game.
Yes, sir.
So warfare is just part of it, and it's more focused on you creating a grand narrative and great big story. Sins of a Solar Empire, on the other hand, it's a space-based war game,
What do you need to know?
is the best way I can describe it. Because
Looking for something?
there is no real diplomacy or negotiations or peace treaties or
Main
anything.
jump underway.
You keep fighting. You keep on fighting until the enemy is destroyed. And everyone who is not you is the enemy.
If that's what you want.
So, it's an excellent game, but one that caters to a very specific audience, I guess is the best way to put it, because trade and diplomacy and peace and everything is not on their agenda. So you have to bear that in mind when you're playing the game, because it does not deliver those things. But one thing I have to say about it is there are a lot of mods for this game. There's total conversion mods for Star Trek, Star Wars, and many more besides. Heck, there's even a few for Halo.
Attack!
And that really gives it a nice little advantage. It's because you can turn it into so many different games and just change it so much. I have to admit, right now, this is my personal favorite for an option to go for. But I'm willing to hear arguments for other games. In any case, that's Sins of a Solar Empire. So, let's just take a look behind door number 3 now, shall we? Ta-ta for the moment. And behind our 4th door, you will find Rome 2 Total War, or Total War Rome 2, depending on how you say it, but you will find this game. Specifically as Rome itself. That is who you will find behind this particular door, and I'm seriously considering a playthrough as Rome, because I have to admit, despite all the vitriol and hate Total War Rome 2 seems to get, I actually quite like it. It's one of my favorite games, and I really, really enjoy it. But I know not everyone agrees with me. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this one loses the vote. But I've always been a fan of Roman and classical history, and being able to play through as Rome and control and expand the Republic of Rome, and then found the Roman Empire, I find the idea of doing that really one that I'm excited about. So I decided to put this one on the list. Rome is certainly an option that I am personally eager to give a try as a Let's Play. I did a Let's Play of Rome 1 way back in the day. It ended because of technical difficulties. I always wanted to come back to that game, but maybe I should go to Rome 2 instead, at least for the time being. I will return to Rome 1 at some point, but it's not on the list right now. So, this is my next option. Playing Rome 2. And it's one that I'm really looking forward to. Fortunately, even if it loses, I will be Let's Playing this at some point. And that is the case with basically all of my series. Even if they lose this poll, they'll all get Let's Played at some point. Even if it's like 50 years down the line or whatever. But I really think that is all there is to say about Rome 2. So, with that, we come to the end of my listing of strategy games options for that slot. So, next it is time to move on to the bonus slot for my extra games that don't fall into any distinct category. And the type of games on that list right now is a little bit of an interesting one, because it's a mix of role-playing games I just wanted to play while I had an RPG going on, and just some action and puzzle games that I've wanted to play for ages but only picked up recently, or the sequels to things I played in the past but have not had the time to Let's Play. And welcome everybody to the first option for Let's Play in my bonus slot. To be added to the list of ones I'll be doing, I mean. Assassin's Creed 2. You see, I first played the Assassin's Creed series on the channel ages and ages ago. God, it was back when I was at bloody university, for God's sake. In fact, Assassin's Creed 1 was the second game I ever Let's Played, and the first I ever finished. So, you can certainly say it holds a special place in my heart. And I've wanted to Let's Play it for ages now, but just have not been able to for a whole host of different reasons. So, if you would like to see some Assassin's Creed, I'm giving you a chance. Of course, I will be Let's Playing it eventually, even if you don't vote for it, but the sooner the better, right? I mean, there's new Assassin's Creed coming out all the bloody time now. So, it would seem to be for the best if I get started on playing through the series, especially since I haven't even started with Ezio yet. And he's going to take long enough with 3 games to his name, let alone the others. Though, I do have to admit, Assassin's Creed 2 will not be blind. In fact, the only time any of the Assassin's Creed games will be blind for me is when we finally get to Assassin's Creed 3. Because everything after that revelation in AC3 is blind to me. And if you don't know which one, the one involving the main character is all I will say. But that will do it for our first game on the bonus slot list. Time to move on to game number 2. Now, for the second option on my list of bonus games, we have The Secret of Monkey Island Special Edition. Now, this game, it is well and truly blind in every sense of the word. I only just got it on the Steam sale very recently, and more importantly, I have never even hit the Play New Game button. In fact, this is the first time I have ever loaded it up for making this update video. I've watched like one or two of Dragons Through 16's videos on the game, so I know it's some sort of puzzle game or something like that, but really I have no idea. So this will literally be as blind can get, so there's not much more I can tell you about the game to help you make a decision. But that is the option. Very short option this time, so let's move on to the next one. And now for the next option on my bonus LP list. Space Engineers. Which a lot of people probably don't know I play. But yeah, this is something I end up playing a lot of sometimes. Sometimes I just can't be bothered. Other times, I really enjoy it. It all kind of depends. But this is something that I've given some thought to playing sometime. As an LP, I mean. And the best way I can really describe Space Engineers, it's kind of like Minecraft, just in space. The way I always end up starting is somewhere called the Crashed Red Ship. You're on a ship that's smashed into an asteroid, and I usually just break down the ship and build a base and stuff, so it would be an interesting let's play to try and survive out in space and set up my own station and eventually get a ship or mobile station going, that kind of thing. It would be very nice to try at some point. And I'm seriously considering it, but it's not high on my list of priorities, honestly, so if this doesn't win the vote, then it'll likely be a very long time before I eventually return to the concept of doing a Space Engineers Let's Play, because while I'm interested in it, I have other things that I'm more interested in, you know what I mean. Anyways, that's about all I have to say for this time. So let's see what's behind the final door on this listing of options. Ta-ta! And now, behind door number 4 for my bonus slot option is LA Noire, a crime mystery type thingamabob in Los Angeles during the 1940s. I've played this one once or twice, and it's actually really good, and I enjoy the whole premise and everything, and I just think it's neat, and I've wanted to play it for a while now. So I just figured I would throw it on the list. Despite there being a ridiculous number of games I want to play. At the moment, this one really stuck out, because I don't play many games that are just like problem solver type affairs, and this one definitely qualifies, so I figured it would be a good fit for my bonus slot. But unfortunately, I can't really give a good description of the game without inadvertently spoiling something in it, so I'm going to have to be extremely vague about it. Also, I can't give you in-game footage about what the game is by recording it myself or anything, because I don't have LA Noire installed on my computer right now. So I can't show it to you, like I've been able to do with all the other games so far. Because yes, this is the only one of them I don't currently have installed. But the basics of it is you play a cop in the Los Angeles Police Department just after World War II, and you go through a bunch of different divisions and stuff and have to solve crimes by finding evidence and figuring out if people are lying to you, and arresting the right person, and accusing the right person, even, of being the criminal in each of the cases. And it's really interesting the way everything works out. But I'm going to stop talking about it here because I don't want to spoil the experience, because it's one you really should experience, and having that spoiled is no bueno. But that will do it for the last of these options for my bonus slot, I think. Okay, so I think that's going to do it for all my poll options. So the 2 votes are for a new game for my strategy slot and a new game for my bonus slot. And the options you have, just to sort of reiterate them for you, for the strategy slot are Age of Mythology Extended Edition, Europa Universalis 4 as the Ottoman Empire, Sins of a Solar Empire Rebellion, and Total War Rome 2 as Rome. And please vote on one of those. I really would appreciate help in figuring this out. The 4 options you have for my bonus slot are Assassin's Creed 2, The Secret of Monkey Island Special Edition, which is going to be almost completely and utterly blind, unless I happen to remember the couple of things I saw in the few episodes of Dragonster 16's thing that I watched. Space Engineers, and finally, LA Noire. Thanks for watching my update video. You can find the links to those polls down in the description below. Please vote on them. It really does help me figure out what I want to put in these LP slots next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.